guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine. This is season 9. I want to say episode 8. I feel like it's 8. I might be right this time, but let's get into it. It was a filler. It wasn't much that happened, but let's get into it, y'all. So not much this happened in this episode. It was definitely like a filler. Let's get the small stuff out the way. We see Aja, is it Audra or Aja? No, it's Audra. Audra and her husband Martin. We found out they've only been married for a year. They met at Howard's homecoming because that's where Martin, that's his alma mater. Look, an HBCU homecoming is like a huge family reunion. I'm an HBCU grad. When I tell you, you can meet the love of your life or a good time while you in a homecoming, it's an experience if you do it the right way. So they met at Howard's homecoming. Audra didn't go to Howard, but she was there to catch a vibe, and she caught Martin. They like fell in love, and they saw each other. They went on dates, and it was them ever since. So they got married at the Justice of Peace. They're now having their wedding. They're getting ready for that. I will say I don't believe in breaking the bank for a wedding or for a party or anything like that. Now, if I ever get married, like if that ever happens, it's gonna be a movie, okay? It's gonna be a moment, all right? But I'm definitely gonna save for it. Like, that never made sense to me where people was like taking out loans and things like that for a wedding. Like, if you don't have the money to have the wedding you want, like, wait until you can save, until you can have the wedding you want without feeling like you broke the bank. Because I think they said their budget was $60,000 and they're like $40,000 over it. In the scene, we saw that they were like looking at linen and stuff like that to like put on the tables. And I think the lady was like, it would be like $130 per like cloth or per like yard or something like that. Okay. Here's the thing. We haven't connected with Audra yet for us to be having solo scenes with her. I think Married to Medicine sometimes does the new person that's auditioning to be on the show a disservice because they did it with Buffy, but we don't like Buffy anyway. But I feel like she didn't really have the best introduction either. And I think the same thing with Audra. We met Audra at Anila's housewarming on the first episode, which was very brief. And it was like, her husband's a dentist, she's a real estate agent or a lawyer. Whoop-de-whoop-de-doo, there she go. Then she gets into it with Toya at Las Vegas. And it was like, I think there should have been a build-up so we could get to know her. But we haven't really gotten to know her. So it was just kind of like, this is random. Like, I thought she had been married to the man for a hot minute. But no, she only been married to the man for a second. So I was like, all right. We then have this scene with Heavenly having a conversation with Damon. And then Contessa having a conversation with Scott. Both couples are talking about what happened the night before at Simone and Cecil's house. Damon basically apologizes to Heavenly, basically saying like, I need to give you grace because of what you're going through with her situation with her mom, as well as him expressing like, I don't like confrontation. I don't like all that fighting and stuff. Like, I just want things to be good. I want y'all to be at peace or be able to mend your friendship. They're actually at Damon's second location for his surgery clinic. So I'm like, you do you, bro. Damon be moving. That's one thing I'll give Heavenly and Damon. Like, they about their stuff. They about their business. So do what you do. So, but yeah, he said he basically got to give her grace. He talked about how we found out that unfortunately that night Heavenly had put her mom in hospice. And it's just a hard pill to swallow. And as someone who's recently dealt with a loved one being in hospice, the shit sucks. It really does. It gives you anxiety because you're like preparing for the day when they're going to leave, but you're like thinking it's going to happen like quick, and sometimes it doesn't. Like, it takes months, or it takes like, it's not really months, but like it might take a month, it might take a couple of weeks, and you're just like waiting, or you're like hoping things will turn around, not understanding that it won't turn around. It's like your mind gives you false sense of hope, and it's just kind of like, the shit sucks. That's just what it is. It just sucks. And I I understand where Heavenly was at that point, because it's just like, don't be like, you someone already picking at you, and you already in the midst of battle between them, and then you got to deal with your mama being on death's door. I'd have cussed you out too, and low key I might have put hands on you, because it's like, girl, my anxiety is high and I'm just frustrated at this point. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone, please, just leave me alone. But Heavenly was just saying, yeah, it's just a lot. And she even admits that she didn't really deal with the situation correctly. But she also admits that Contessa didn't know her mom was in hospice. So it's just like, you keep poking at me. And it's like, I'm going to start coming back at you. So then when Scott and Contessa are having the conversation, Contessa basically says she probably going to lay off like of Heavenly, and she going to let it go. Because she was like, she lost her mom and she knows what that feels like. And she just doesn't, she wants to give the lady grace. So we gonna give each other grace and keep it pushing. We then have this scene with well, you know what? Let's get Toya and Eugene out the way. So Kieran has this, like, I think it was like bourbon, Botox. What was it? Bourbon, Botox, and something else? Burgers, bourbon, and Botox. And he was trying to convince the guys to get Botox, but all of them was like, no, bro, I'm good. But he had like hand massages and like manicures. They could get back massages. There was bourbon tasting. And it was catered by that same black lady and that like, you know, that young black lady and that older black lady, which I'm happy, because like, I'm glad they are getting they shine and getting paid. Get your coins, ma'am. And the food looked good. They had like sliders and they were just talking. Scott says, you know, even though the women are fighting, me and Damon are cool. We have Eugene talking to Damon about, you know, ER and how like he needs to find something else. Damon talks about like he ain't never worked weekends since he left the ER and life's been great. He also talks about how like his kids even noticed a change in him and said that he's totally different now that he doesn't work ER. And he's like, he's committed to like maintaining that. And he was like, life after ER could be great. But Damon was also shocked that Eugene wants to leave ER, because Eugene used to be so passionate about it that it's just as weird. Like he was just like, I never thought you would come to this point. So after the party, we see Eugene pop up at I was about to call him Darren. Is his name Darren? Why did I just lose his name? Dr. Daddy's house. I just lost that man's name so quick. But they're sitting there, Dr. Damon. I don't know why he's sitting at, he goes and meets Dr. Damon at his office, and they sit down and talk, and Eugene just talks about how he loves, like he used to really love ER medicine, but after the pandemic, it just, he's burnt out. Like I've been saying, Eugene is burnt out. He is tired. He can tell that it's affecting his marriage and his kids. And he was just like, he's gotten to the point where he's like, he's crying. Like he was just like, you know, I used to love going into the ER and just being there, but now I'm tired. And he was like, I just need to find a way to like do ER, but also do something else that's not going to jeopardize the well-being of my family and of my psyche. And I'm glad that Damon is there to where like he's encouraging him, like telling him like, you know, like there's life after ER and it can be great. And I mean, like I related to Eugene when he was like, I never thought I would need a plan B because I loved plan A so much. And now I'm at this point where I have to find a plan B, and it's scary. And it's like, it's terrifying. And I was just like, wow. And I mean, I'm glad he's sharing this because burnout is real. Like I remember listening to a podcast with like a psychologist who expressed that it takes a year for somebody to overcome burnout. And if he's still working there as he's dealing with it, it probably would even take even longer for Eugene to get over his burnout. So I think it's important for him to find somewhere where he can have an outlet where he doesn't feel like he's suffocating or just trudging through the mud. While that's happening, we see Toya going to meet, I guess, with her spiritual counselor. And she breaks down. She talks about how like this is not the life that she envisioned for herself. She tells the spiritual counselor that like she doesn't know if it was the pandemic or whatever, but she was just like, when her boys were like, "Mommy, why aren't you happy anymore?" And she was like, "No, I am happy." And she was like, "The fact that my kids can see it, like that's a problem, because I thought I was doing well." And she also talks about how the person she used to talk to all the time, which was Eugene, like, because as much as Eugene and Toya get on our nerves, you can tell that they genuinely love each other. And she was just like, I can't talk to him anymore about it because he's also going through what he's going through. And she said the pandemic just like pushed us apart. And I was just like, wow. And she was about to cry, and low key, I was like, like, don't cry. Because when Toya was like, I don't cry. I don't cry. And like now I'm crying. Like that's not what I do. And we really don't be seeing Toya really cry. The only time we saw Toya cry was when she expressed about her miscarriage. So I was just like, wow, like this must really be like weighing on her. And she was just like, I gotta feed into me, but I also have to feed into my husband and be supportive of his needs. And it's just like, how do I do that? And that is a conundrum when you're in a relationship. Like you're trying, it's like you can't, like that saying, like you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's like both of them are at a crossroads where and I think the spiritual advisor gave good advice where she was like, you need to talk to him and tell him what you're willing to do to get back on the same page, as well as him telling you the same, like what he's willing to do. So hopefully they get back on the same page. Hopefully they do. I know a lot of us feel like, it's what's it called? It's money related when it's when it's with Toya and Eugene's issues, but I think it's a mixture of both. Eugene is tired and he's burnt out, and I don't even think if Toya was working, he would not be burnt out. I think maybe her working would subside it a little bit, but not a lot. Because, like, when you're burnt out, you're burnt out. Because I've dealt with burnout. When you're just like, you're trying to make yourself happy, but nothing's working. And it's just like you want to just sit in a dark room and just lay there, listen to some music and vibe. But you can't do that because you got so much stuff going on. Like, you just feel like you legit feel like you're in a box, the water is slowly rising, and you're just trying to keep your head above water as you're steadily trying to like break out the box. And it's like, when am I going to get out? How do I get out? And sometimes it leaves people where they just don't know where to go. And I think it's a good thing that he's expressing this, as well as her, because a lot of people were affected by the pandemic. A lot of families were affected by the pandemic. Those who have lost people, as well as those who went through it. It messes some people up. It has messed some people up. Some people have left the healthcare field altogether. Others have lost their faith in the healthcare field. Some people have low key taken their own lives. So it's like that stuff. I mean, it's still going on, but when it was first going on, it messed a lot of people up. A lot of people up. So on to the last part is Anila and her annoying mama. All right. So our last couple would be Anila and her mama. Her mom's annoying. She couldn't be my mom. Cause she's just a lot. And she does, like, she's a lot but has the least. Like, it doesn't make sense. So they're in the car and they're going to Anila's like hair business. If you don't know, you can check out on her page. She has like a walkthrough of the business. But basically Anila has her own like version hairline of different clip-ins. The way it's marketed, it's more for, the Caucasian persuasion, which is cool because we have our own stuff in the Black community as well. But like the way it's marketed is not really marketed to me to the Black community, which is okay because everybody needs their own stuff, so I don't have no problem with that. But the actual interior of the store looks nice. Like when Anila does the walkthrough and you can go on her page, it's nice. So they walk in, it's construction. We meet Dallas, which is Anila's business partner, and then the actual interior designer. And like they're looking at the tile floors. Anila's like super excited to show her mom. And then her mom just starts off being negative. And it's like, damn, lady. Like, you just got in here. Chill out. So the lady is just like, oh, I don't like this. Why do you need such a big space? The business partner, Dallas, is like, because mom, we need a big space because this is what we're doing. They go into the area that's supposed to be the VIP lounge. She don't really like the tile. She's like, who gonna clean it? And I'm like, if it doesn't affect you, then calm down. She then talks about how she feels like there needs to be a kitchen. And I'm like, no, ma'am. I love Indian food, but Indian food has a smell as well as most like minority and ethnic food does because we use a lot of spices. And that type of stuff gets in your clothes and in your hair. Nobody wants to take home tracks or extension or get their hair done at the salon and then they come outside and it smells like food. Like, that's not what we want to do. So I was just like, why does there need to be a kitchen in there? Her mom is like going off. The only thing I agree with Anila and her mom is like Anila keeps trying to like force her mom to be a parent. And I was happy her mom told her, I'm the grandmother, you're the mother. Yeah, she's a grandmother. She's not there to mother your parents. You should be mothering your kids, Anila. That's the reason why people be talking trash about Anila being a mom. Because it's like, why do you need to thrust all of this responsibility on your mother? Like, she's a mom. Like, she's a grandmother. You're the mom. You were asking her to be there for help. So, like, she's annoyed with her mom's attitude. Where I would be annoyed with her mom's attitude, like, if I was her. But I got what her mom was saying, where her mom was just like, girl, that's not my job. So then it's the final episode of the final scene of the episode. They're at home. That house looks fucking disgusting. That house looks nasty. Her mom still has like food from like breakfast in the morning, and you can tell it's like the middle of the day. Like, her mom is starting to cook dinner. There's open containers of everything out like of food out. Then the kids haven't cleaned up after themselves. And one thing I'll give the mom is like, you and Miss Gomez should have been teaching them how to clean up after themselves. Like, your daughter especially is like 5 or 6. Like, at the age of like 2 or 3, you should be teaching them how to like pick up after themselves. Like, okay, let's everybody clean. That's the cleanup song. Clean up, everybody clean. Like, we all know that song. Why haven't you sang the cleanup song and helped them put their things away? Of course they leave things out because then Anila reiterates how, Miss Gomez did everything. That's why she left and she had no remorse about it. The lady was a single mother and a nanny to a house full of 2 grown adults and 2 kids when all she was supposed to be was a nanny. Why did you not teach your kids how to clean up? As well as Anila is talking about how like her mom is not following any of our rules. Granted, her mom is not. Her mom should know boundaries, but her mom does not know boundaries. And Anila knows her mom doesn't know boundaries. But you invited the lady to your house so you could have a live-in babysitter that you didn't have to pay. Because that's what it's really given. Because you have the mom cooking, cleaning, and taking care of your kids. Where the hell are you throughout the day? Why are you not teaching your kids what to do? Why are you not reiterating to them like, hey, this is what we have to do. Like, this is how we gonna move. So while she's like, Mom, I haven't even had time to do a shoot. And this is my thing. And like a lot of people and like a lot of reviewers I've seen pointed out, Anila is like a jack of all trades. And like that saying, is it a master of all is a master of none? I don't know if I said that right. But that is what Anila is. Like, I feel like Anila keeps taking on things because it's making money for her, but it's like you don't have time for your kids, which is important, ma'am, because you had them. Like, and the thing is, her mama got her when her mama was like, I'll leave. I don't have to follow your rules. I'll leave. And Anila was like, no, you can leave. You don't have to leave. You can just change. So it's like, clearly you just need your mom to be your babysitter. Like, that is what it is. You need your mom to be your babysitter. Because if you didn't like the way your mom was acting or how she's treating you like you're 15, then she can leave. She just told you she will leave. Kick her out. But you don't want to do that because you like the fact that she is there to do what you're supposed to do. That's why I don't feel bad for when the people start going in on Anila about being a mom. And if Anila get on the reunion crying about that, I'ma laugh. Because the truth of the matter is, you're the one who painted this picture that you don't take care of your kids, ma'am. You did that. Nobody else. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and drop down in them comments below. Deuces.